What is up? What is up? What is up, Brooklyn, New York, and the rest of the boxing world? It is your man, Sean Zittel, holding it down on a very squeaky chair, live from a house in Brooklyn, New York. I got some of my Porter Way podcast brothers in the background, Dane, and of course, the great DDA. Go ahead and say hi off camera, guys, if you'd like.
What's going on?
You hear him. Good fellas, man. Good fellas. And so, yesterday I went live at the airport, talked about my concern for Ryan Garcia heading into this fight. Talking about, I don't even know if we fully did our jobs the right way with this fight going off Saturday. And that's not a disrespect to Ryan Garcia. It's a concern for Ryan Garcia. There continues to be talk about this is selling the fight versus he's really kind of showing signs of concern and that he's not well heading in. And I lean more on the side of having that concern for all this turmoil he's showing. And, you know, Devin Haney is looking at it and licking his chops. And he out of his own, words today, he says something's wrong with this motherfucker is what Devin Haney said. And, that's a harsh way to put it, but it's Devin. Look, when the opponent who wants everyone to believe he's fighting King Kong, you never want to demean your opponent too bad. It's the old Floyd Mayweather playbook. You talk him up so that when you beat him, you sound good. First, you talk him down to sell the fight, and then you start to talk him up so that knowing you're going to win the fight, you get credit. And Devin's even backed away from that. He said something's wrong with him and that it's going to be an early night. And Devin Haney doesn't usually say things like it's going to be an early night or guarantee a knockout or talk about meeting in the center of the ring. That stuff he's always backed away from and just made it about winning the fight by any means necessary. And Bill Haney, same thing. Bill Haney doesn't often try to promote Devin to get a knockout. I remember them getting kind of not too happy with me when I tried to ask Teofimo Lopez, does Devin Haney need a knockout against Linares to, prove something so that you guys can fight for undisputed back at the time? And it seemed as though they knew there was a chance he wasn't going to knock out Linares, who had been knocked out in all 5 of his previous losses. But they took issue with me because they know what they got in Devin Haney, who was 20, 21 at the time. And sure enough, he became the first guy to beat Jorge Linares by decision and not by knockout. So, but this fight, they're both guaranteeing knockout. They're both even talking about fighting in the center of the ring. And I still don't know how smart that is for Devin early. I suspect Devin, in his perfect scenario, he wants Ryan to come at him reckless, which I think Ryan is going to do. I've called it bottled chaos on Sean's show. Ryan himself called it controlled chaos on DAZN. So I think Devin wants him to come out reckless and nail him with the brick hand, nail him with the right hand. And I don't know, that could be a miscalculation because I think Devin believes he could put him down on a single shot with the momentum coming forward like Tank did in round 2. But he might want to leave the right hand glued to his chin more instead of throwing it at Ryan so he could be ready to catch the left hook early, pick him apart with the jab, and then eventually that right hand, that brick will come. But that's not what Devin's talking about. Devin's talking about, early stoppage in this fight. And let's get to it. Let's get to some of the stuff. We'll start with Ryan Garcia, who gave his final words at the press conference here.
Appearance in the Big Apple with a lot of love from the fans. With a record of 24-1, 20 knockouts, Ryan King Ryan Garcia.
Whoa!
Thank you, the Lord Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Thank you, Jesus. 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 Thank you, Jesus.
Now go and get that book and read it.
Thank you.
And so here comes a little bit of just the odd stuff from Ryan where he thanks Jesus a half dozen times and then follows it up with, cursing and rants and all of that.
Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Jesus is King, King of Kings, King of Kings. No, okay. He is the King of Kings. Jesus is the one above all. Okay.
By the way, full disclosure, I do agree with him on that statement, but still, it's what follows is odd. It's not usually what follows is not usually what follows up Jesus being king. But here we go.
How you guys doing? What do you guys want me to say? I've already said everything. What do you want me to do? I've already done it all. I've already said it all. I've done it all. And now I'm just ready to kick ass. I'm ready to I'm going there and just fuck this man up. You don't understand. I'm gonna fuck him up. You don't know what I've been training like. You don't know the vision I have. You do not know I'm on fire. I'm on fire.
I remember, you know, an old phrase, and my mother used to say it growing up, was the eyes are the window to the soul. And if you look into the eyes of Ryan, I see, you know, a lot of inner turmoil, some sadness, and some chaos. And I kind of, every time I look at him, I more and more, as the fight got closer, I just kind of feel for him. Like I almost feel bad for him because, you know, when we go through our own inner turmoil, and it's usually a lot more private, but we're seeing this man go through it in front of the whole world, and he has to fight as a 10-1, 8-1 underdog Saturday night. So it's kind of rough to watch at times.
I'm on fire. I'll break this whole thing right now. That's how I'm fired. I'm strong. I'm strong. Strong. And I'm louder than that whole team. They got like 5 people there. Look how loud. Woo! We couldn't hear you, bitch.
I got an 8-ball for you. I got an 8-ball for you.
That's Bill Haney Jr., Devin Haney's older brother right there.
Derek James got aerospace.
Got an 8-ball in the cut for you. He dies.
Here we go. We have a fight.
Oh, thank you. First super chat on the channel. Thank you. $5 to Shaba. Said, salute, Sean. Appreciate the work. No, I appreciate you coming in and supporting, man. I'm glad you deemed it worthy of your hard-earned money. So that was that from Ryan. And now let's go ahead to, and again, for any Ryan Garcia fans, I promise you I'm not bashing him. I don't take joy in saying these things about him. It's not even comfortable to say. I'd rather keep things boxing, but I'm giving my honest observation that I continue to see this young man display his inner turmoil for all of us to see, and it troubles me. You know, it troubles me heading into this fight. If he shocks the world and shocks me and knocks out Devin Haney early with a left hook, I'll just give him nothing but credit. But it doesn't look good for young Ryan Garcia. The foreshadowing doesn't lean in his way heading into this. So let's get to Devin Haney, who, again, said things in this scrum that he never really says heading into fights. I know a lot of fighters promise knockouts and things like that. Devin doesn't really do that. And so it carries a little bit more weight when he does. And I'll jump to the part that matters here. Hold on.
Want to take the bet, or if he just was telling him, like, don't even feed into what my dad was saying.
Devin, in 2014, when you fought Ryan in the amateurs, you did meet him in the center of the ring. You had him on his back foot. Do you feel like you need to remind him that, you know, you were putting pressure on him and he was basically...
Yeah.
Good question by Champside.
Ryan will see. Ryan will see that. You know, I'm on a different level. I'm levels above him, and I see it being an early night. I don't see Ryan being able to.
That's the quote right there. I see it being an early night, and Devin doesn't see when Ryan says things like I'm knocking him the fuck out and I'm doing X, Y, and Z. It's over the top. It's like somebody trying to convince himself that this is going to be reality. When Devin says it, he says it cold and from the chest, like a cold, hard reality statement. He's not selling you it. He's not trying. Ryan keeps trying to sell you that I'm going to knock him the fuck out. I'm going to do this. And he's with Diddy and all this. And Devin is just, he knows the fight is 48 hours away. He knows he's left no stone unturned. And so he just calmly, coldly states, I think it's going to be an early night. And I think those words carry more weight than all the superlative and over-the-top words with so much emotion from Ryan.
Ryan will see.
This matches Devin's demeanor. Oh, by the way, Devin does sound weaker 2 days before the fight that he did for Regis. Maybe making 140 is already tough on him, and that's why they keep talking about 147. They talk about becoming undisputed at 140, but Devin also said earlier this week he might go to 47 soon. You don't know. A lot of people commented on my Twitter when I shared part of this video that his voice sounded weak. It does. But still, at only his second fight at 140, I think he's going to rehydrate and be very strong. Let's just hear it again.
You know, I'm on a different level. I'm levels above him, and I see it being an early night. I don't see Ryan being able to go to 412 with me. His antics will give up on him. It will show. All this bullshit will show.
Are you
Okay, so that may not sell and be as exciting as all the things Ryan says, right? That his antics will show, it'll give up on him, it'll fail him, right? Devin Haney is making not as sexy, not as selling a point, but a point made in substance. And I began, and I'm going to get to those super chats in a minute, but I began to understand and grasp more what Devin Haney's all about heading into Saturday night. In his mind, fighters work themselves up into all kinds of mental states for motivation. In his mind, he's the good guy because he's the disciplined guy. And Ryan is not. Ryan is the celebrity. Ryan is the guy there. Devin, I don't think, thinks this deeply about it, but Ryan's the guy who's there because he's good looking. Ryan's the guy who's there because he's a crossover star and all kinds of things. And Devin's there because he's really a great young fighter who's very disciplined. And I think the message he wants to show to he keeps talking about the youth in this fight. The message he wants to show to his fan base and to kids is that clout can only get you so far. Clout and natural talent without hard work. Clout, natural talent, looks, whatever, all of that can only get you so far. And what really wins in life is perseverance, dedication, and discipline. And so that's what I think is like Ryan's statement is about the kids being molested through Hollywood and pedophilia and all the evil that comes from the entertainment industry. That's his hill to die on heading into this fight. Devin's is a little bit more grounded in reality, and his point is, I'm going to show you what happens when, talent doesn't work hard versus talent that does work hard. I'm going to show you what happens when you lock yourself in a gym and have a narrow focus on a single task at hand versus a scattershot brain and trying to fulfill so many roles at once. I'm going to show you the difference between a real great young fighter and what it takes to be a great young fighter and an imposter, a pretender. And that's what I think was the whole point of what Devin was saying right there, that his antics will fail him and it'll be an early night. Again, the early night thing, by trying to make it an early night, Devin Haney could open the door for the best chance of Ryan Garcia winning this fight. I think Ryan Garcia's best chance in this fight is early, and I expect Ryan to be dangerous early. And if Devin is in a rush to hit him with the shot that Tank hit him with, the brick hand, run him into something, then he's removing that right hand from his chin, and now the left hook could find a home as Devin exchanges and opens up with him. Devin would probably be best served in the first 2 or 3, letting that right hand stay home to catch and not get hit by that left hook than he would chucking it and trying to get an early stoppage. And my prediction in this fight remains, I do think Devin will get a stoppage, but he's going to have to out-jab Ryan, work his levels with his jab, catch the hook, and deal with a lot of chaotic energy and danger from Ryan from the first 2 or 3 rounds. But that he could be helping Ryan if he wants to meet him in the center of the ring early. That's Ryan's best chance to win. But got over 100 people in here. I got a couple super chats to get to. I want to thank Shabbat again for the $5, brother. Latoya Top Dog sent me $2. Thank you, Latoya, and said Devin is a clown. He gets clout off a Tank. Well, okay, let's speak to that point in a moment. And then the Jack Artist sent me $10, no comment. He just wanted to send $10. Thank you, Jack Artist. Shoot a question down in the chat if you wanted me to get to something, Jack Artist. But thank you, brother. Thank you guys so much. You guys are my first super chats. So to Latoya's point, he's not trying to clout chase off Tank that bad because I tried to ask him about Tank and he kind of shot it down. Go ahead, Latoya. Let's listen to it.
Nothing that he can say that can get me off my game plan. I'm here for a reason. So it is what it is. He can outside the ring. I don't fuck with him.
No face-off today. Whose decision was that?
It's commission.
Devin, do you embrace kind of the inevitable comparison that'll come from this fight versus what Tank was able to do with Ryan? You know, both in the ring and at the box office.
No, I mean I'm my own fighter. At the end of the day, I got my own path. My journey is my journey. You guys can make your comparisons all you want. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
To piggyback off what you feel like a stoppage is out.
Yeah, so he didn't really try to talk about Tank right there. And I had a lot more like legit questions for Devin, but that they literally said final question there, and this is my first day here, so I had to cut to the chase about some Gervonta stuff. Because like I asked him, inevitably, whether he wants it to, whether I wanted to, or you people watching at home wanted to, there's going to be comparisons to the Tank fight, and the excuses are going to cancel each other out. If you're a Tank fan, you fought Ryan when he was mentally out of it and had already lost by knockout to Tank. If you're a Devin fan, you fought Ryan when he was 136 pounds and weight drained and had a rehydration clause. Essentially, the excuses are going to cancel themselves out from both fan bases, and it's going to just come down to who performed better against Ryan Garcia in the ring and at the box office. We know that Tank's going to exceed at the box office. That fight did... This chair is really squeaky. That fight did over 1 million pay-per-view buys, which I didn't expect. I thought it'd do 600, 700, 500,000, and it did double that, reportedly. And so, you know, he's not going to be able to equal him there, but I think he can equal him in what he does to Ryan in the ring, even if it takes a few more rounds, because he's not the puncher Tank is. He can make up for it in accumulation and style points, you know, if he's just dissecting Ryan from every which way. But yeah, to your point, Latoya, he didn't really embrace any of the Tank stuff right there. What Brickhand says, HLD, the backhand, the right hand. And again, I think Devin's right. I'm calling it now. I think Devin's right hand is going to play a major role in this fight. I think he cleans up with the right hand in this fight as it progresses. And that's why we've seen him working on it so much. So let's go ahead and check a few more things out from the day. So Bill Haney, this was fun. This was pretty fun. So backstory, Henry Garcia called Bill Haney a nappy head and says he has nappy hair like Don King. So Bill, having the sense of humor and quick wit he does, turned it into this. Pretty smart.
We on top, baby. We on top, baby.
Only in America. Bill Haney, everybody. From the Bay Area in Oakland, California, all the way to Las Vegas, all the way down to the home of Biggie Smalls in Brooklyn. Everybody loves Bill Haney, everybody. That's pretty awesome of Bill.
Here in New York City, the best fighter in the world, baby.
And a little background too. Bill is coming out with the Mexican flag. Back with me on Fight Hype about two months ago. What fight was I covering? Who was the main event that night? It was at the Virgin Hotel. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz against Frederick Lawson on DAZN. Bill was in the audience that night. He got into it with Bernard Hopkins. I followed him out the arena, and Bill proceeded to go around asking every Mexican and Mexican-American person at the Virgin, is Ryan La Raza? And when they didn't understand Bill, my wife being Mexican, I put the accent on there and said, La Raza, is he La Raza? And what was continued to be funny about that was not only would these people answer Bill Haney, but they answered him very seriously and went, no. As if they didn't get hype and go, nah, Ryan's not La Raza and all this. They very seriously, one by one, no, he is not. Which, I don't know, that was funny. But so Bill is taking the Don King dig from Henry Garcia, and then his marketing gimmick, Mexicans for Haney and Ryan's not La Raza, and he turns it all into this. Very Don King of him. Let's see.
New York City.
What's up, Eric Gomez? Thank you, Mr. Lightning. Mr. Lightning said, great work on Fight Hype. I appreciate it, man. Devin's going to get cleaned up, Sean. That boy is weak. If that happens, I'll eat my words. I just don't see it happening. The foreshadowing does not indicate that. And there's always foreshadowing heading into these big fights. All right, now one more Bill Haney, the gift that keeps giving. One more of Bill Haney, the gift that keeps giving. Hold on.
Derek James is a Hall of Fame trainer, trainer of the year. You know, I can't say enough about him, and I know the preparation.
Giannini Valentin Pekelusco, excuse me, Giannini, for not saying the name right. She says, Sean Zittel and the new WBC super lightweight champion of the world, King Ryan Garcia. We shall see, my friend.
We have Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has fooled the people. He's fooled the people into thinking that he's something other than a great fighter. We've been in the...
That's Bill not wanting to fully, I think, tell us. I think Bill thinks Ryan's fucked up. He just doesn't want to fully say it because of the Floyd Mayweather stuff I talked about before. You don't belittle him too much. You want to build him up so that when you beat him, the journalists and the critics, they can't take away from your victory. So that's all Bill's doing right here. But I don't think Bill thinks he's just kidding. If Bill thought he was just trolling, Bill wouldn't have been concerned for weeks on end that we'd even get to tonight. The Haneys didn't even know if we'd get to tonight until Saturday night till we got here. So I don't think they think it's antics. And Devin hasn't even said it's antics. Devin, I'll show in another clip, has said something's wrong with this guy, and we'll see.
And amateurs, and I've seen his work ethic as a pro, but I've also seen his antics outside the ring.
KB says, Sean, you are and always will be one of the kings at mayonnaise flips. Absolute legend, man. Good luck on your newest venture. KB, thank you. I just don't know what you mean by mayonnaise flips. I am very, curious. I want to know what that means.
While he's continued to make you guys think that he's something, that he might be crazy or delusional, in fashion, because with Kambosos, we gave him the Art Award, because I'm sure that that's what he was reading. I have a book for Ryan Garcia today. Psychology for Dummies. Well, that's what Kambosos did. You saw what happened there?
It's jarring to me the way Ryan goes from 0 to 100 so quickly, not just with his emotions, but with his body seems erratic heading into this fight. His mannerisms, facial expressions, things like that. And I don't take pride in saying this. I feel like the young man is going through it. And again, part of me feels bad even being here. If he's going through it like I suspect and many people suspect, I feel a little guilty even being here and trying to make money off of it and everything. Like, but maybe I'm wrong and he's ready to go and it's all been a big troll job and he's going to ice Devin in 3 rounds. But I don't think it's a troll job, man. I think we're seeing a troubled young man with a lot of inner turmoil.
Well, that's what Kambosos did. You saw what happened there? So all this game that he thought that he was playing on the people, I don't know if he thought he was playing on you guys, but it didn't work with me and Devin. We stayed focused. There's no excuses. Come Saturday night, put your kids to bed. It's 18 and over, because what I'm sending Devin to do to him shouldn't be on TV. They have violated everything about boxing, including throwing the book, disrespecting the sport, disrespecting religion, and for that, all gloves are off. If him and his team are really who they say they are, come to the center of the ring. Come to the center of the ring. Don't run. Don't run, because Devin is coming to do bodily harm to him. Now, I want to thank you. Eddie Hearn and DAZN.
Zoom in on Ryan here.
For definitely believing in Devin from the very beginning. We had a vision that we believed that kids and millennials and young people like my son would be watching and covering boxing.
So yeah, this is part of what Bill's getting at. This is what Devin has worked himself into. A lot of fighters, like Ben Davison said about Josh Taylor before he became undisputed, he said there's an art to a fighter developing spite in the ring. And the way Devin's developing spite towards Ryan is, his Islamic fundamental principles and adhering to discipline and all that. Although, Devin, right after visiting Mecca, to be fair to Ryan, he called Richardson a bitch ass such and such, which, I don't know Islam. I have a lot to learn about Christianity, but I know even less about Islam. But I would think that's probably not exactly what they want either. But to the original point, Devin and Bill's galvanizing mentality against Ryan is he stands for a lot of ugly things in today's current society, and Devin, in their eyes, probably overlooked by many, stands for a lot of good things, like a pursuit of a relationship with God, and regardless of religion, and discipline and adherence to just strict discipline principles, and that's what Bill and Devin are getting at here.
On a phone. I didn't believe that we would be here today and this would be the way of watching boxing and covering boxing. And thank you to Devin and his decision.
Some people are saying Devin's a fake Muslim and all that. I don't know. I'm not the best judge of that kind of thing, but I give him credit for in his 20s trying to pursue a relationship with the Creator, and give Ryan credit too, but his has been so misguided at times, but still, I give credit to both of them for seeking a relationship, with the Creator. But that's out of bounds a little bit. Let's keep it pushing. Hold on. What happened here?
Here, thank you to the Zone. I went to talk to Oscar, and one part of Devin being the promoter that he is being able to have relationships with Eddie Hearn, with Bob Arum, with Oscar De La Hoya, and the like. I gave Oscar De La Hoya.
Now, so the Bills' point right there, we have, we've shown we can have relationships with all the promoters. Devin's critics and people that support Tank would point out, you're adding to our point about being serious about a Gervonta fight. You've made business with everybody in the business but Al Heyman. So out of your own mouth, you can make fights with anybody from Matchroom to Golden Boy to Top Rank. So then it shouldn't be an issue for you guys to reach out for Gervonta and PBC. I just know that's an argument that, Gervonta's fan base constructs.
And one thing only, I said,
But I'm always of the opinion that you shouldn't, it doesn't really work this way in boxing, but me being an idealist in the sport, who fights who should not be dependent upon who you're signed to. That would be like, in the NFL that, you sign with the AFC East, you sign with the NFC West, you can't play that team over there in the other division. No, it's all the same sport, the NFL, and same thing with boxing. It shouldn't be you have to sign with this guy or that guy. If you're number one and number two and it's the fight everyone wants to see, like Max Crosby, the NFL star, told me earlier this week, then it should just go down. But as it stands in the reality of the business of the sport, Tank's fans will say, so you make business with everybody except the guy who promotes Tank. Why is that?
Hall of Fame fighter that I know you are, that you fought the fights in your prime, that you would make this fight happen between two fighters in their prime with no excuses. Thank you to Oscar for being a man of his word and staying on it. But come Saturday, this boy gonna pay for all that shit that he done did. I promise you that.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right. So let me say what's up to some people in the chat who've been popping some questions in and everything. Another super chat from Latoya Top Dog said, like I said, he's clout chased off a Tank his whole career. I don't. When you want to fight the other best fighters in and around your division, it's not clout chasing to me. It's this whole game of marketability and who's selling more tickets and who has to cross what street to go where. I don't know. That's up to the concern of the people writing the checks in boxing and isn't really my concern. I'm closer to Max. Here, you know what? That brings me to, as we're discussing Tank and Devin and all that, hey, I thought it was very telling that, because Tank and his team sometimes and his fan base, they try to say like Devin's a nobody, and that's a big reason why that fight doesn't have to happen or anything. Well, Max Crosby's not just some hardcore boxing nerd, or he's not just a hardcore boxing fan. This is a mainstream casual fan.
Being right there, seeing it in person was like, I'm like literally.
Check this out.
That dude is a different breed and like more pure than watching two set. You know what I mean? That's how all three of you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So just win. I'm here to put a damn stamp on.
Here I asked Max Crosby about Haney and
on Saturday night.
Do you like boxing too, Max? Are you gonna watch Saturday's fight with Haney and Garcia?
Absolutely. I'm a huge boxing fan. I don't do a ton of MMA. I do majority of my training, especially.
So Max talks about how much he loves boxing, and then
run for almost 2 months. So I'm a huge boxing fan. Recently, I went and sparred Dominic Cruz about a week ago. Me and him got after it. We're really swinging on each other and had some fun. I love that shit. And boxing is incredible. I think boxing is one of the most pure art forms in sports. And a guy like Haney versus Garcia, I've been watching the whole build-up and the lead-up to the fight. I have a ton of respect for Devin Haney. I think he's going to go in there and dominate. He's a hell of a fighter. My favorite boxer right now is probably Gervonta. So in general, I want to see that fight. That's the fight to make. I think Haney's going to go through him, and then eventually, Haney and Gervonta are going to have to meet. So it'll be interesting.
So I love that Max said that, because it kind of puts the end to the notion that one second here.
Arnold Barboza.
It puts the end to the notion that Haney's not a big enough star or B-side for a Gervonta fight. An argument that only hardcore boxing fans know who Devin Haney is. I know Max Crosby likes boxing, but I doubt he knows John Scrappy Ramirez on the undercard or Charles Conwell on the undercard. He doesn't probably know Junto Nakatani got the knockout of the year last year, something like that. So that's a mainstream casual fan, a celebrity who's saying Gervonta and Devin's the fight to make. And that's where we're headed. Devin's going to win this fight Saturday. And by Saturday night, Sunday morning, you're going to see Devin and Tank start to really become the new Crawford Spence in terms of that's the fight to make. It's the fight everyone wants to see. Because they started off as the five young stars, Ryan, Tio, Devin, Shakur, Tank, right? Well, it's thinning out into Devin and Tank being the true fight out of them all, even though I'd love to see the mix and match of Devin, Tio, Shakur, and Tank plenty. I mean, any of those match up with those four is amazing, right? But if Ryan loses Saturday, like Vegas is betting 9-1 that he will, then, he's a notch below the other four. And then Tio is up and down, inconsistent with his performances. Shakur's taken a hit at the box office and with the De Los Santos fight not being that great. So Devin and Tank are rounding into being the fight, the new Crawford Spence, in more ways than one. It's Crawford Spence because it could decide who's great and who's just really good. It could potentially decide a number one pound for pound, maybe. I don't know if that fight's quite there. There's some great veterans ahead of them, like Inoue, Usyk, and Crawford. But also, like Crawford Spence, it's going to come down to how does this fight get made? Does it have to happen on PBC? And all that? And with Devin being Crawford, Devin being the guy, the fighter, the accomplished, actually more accomplished, just like Crawford was more accomplished than Spence, but not the draw that Spence was, just like Devin's not the draw that Tank was. And Devin, like Crawford, being kind of stubborn about not really wanting to do business with PBC, liking to be his own man. Well, why you weren't that stubborn with Top Rank? Well, after I got what I wanted out of Top Rank, the undisputed titles, and I won against Lomachenko, I told them to go fuck themselves and continue to be my own boss. After I got what I wanted out of Eddie Hearn, the WBC belt and tune-up fights to get ready for Undisputed, I left him for Arum. Then I left Arum for Eddie again. Then I left Eddie again for Oscar to make the Ryan fight. So he'll work with other promoters, but him and Bill like to do it as their own men. And it's just very interesting how that's all going to play out with PBC in making a Tank fight. So I expect that by Sunday morning, Devin and Tank is starting to really round out until the new, Crawford Spence type fight. I have a super chat from Sugar1. Thank you so much. Said, I think Sean Zittel stops Doug Fisher and Dan Raphael, but I don't know if he has enough pop to keep Nestor off of him, even at a catch weight. Oh, I understand. Nestor's a big guy. Nestor's 6'5". And Dougie Fisher probably has a higher boxing IQ than me. And then you can't count out Dan. Dan could be on his Andy Ruiz. We know he's a big boy, but maybe he's got fast hands and combinations like Andy Ruiz and he beats me up. I can't underestimate any of these guys. Ness has had more success as a talking head than me, and Dougie and Dan have had more success than me as a journalist. But I appreciate that so much, Sugar One, and I'll try my best. I'll try my best against those three opponents. Ness, like you said, being the toughest because he's so big. Shout out to Ness. I am Boxing Voice alumni, so it's all love. Molly Mall said, how realistic is Devin versus Boots one day? Great question. I don't think so. I think Devin can get to the number one pound for pound spot at some point, and I suspect he will. But they're like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather didn't fight Winky Wright at 154. Floyd Mayweather didn't fight Paul Williams at 147 or 154. There's certain fights you navigate even at the tippy top, and I think that's a fight Bill Haney and Devin Haney navigate. And that's why anytime media asks them about Jaron Ennis, there's no smoke there. There's no fire there. Because Jaron would be the favorite in that fight. Jaron has started his career at 47. Devin started his career at 35. Jaron's going to wind up at 160. Devin will probably top out at 54. So Jaron's a bigger man who's got that rare blend of heavy hands and snapping, quick, explosive power. And that's why Devin and Bill, when you hear them talk about 47, it's more against a Mario Barrios for what would potentially be a vacant WBC belt up at welterweight. So to answer your question, no, I don't think we'll ever see Haney versus Boots, but I do think you'll see Devin one day be the welterweight champion. But it's not going to come when Boots is there. So that's how I answer that. Yeah. And when it's all said and done, I think, again, Devin's going to go from 35 to 154. I think at some point in his career, he'll hold down the #1 pound-for-pound spot. But I don't think they'll look Jaron Ennis's way. So, don't you think Devin is a bit big for Tank? No. He's bigger than Tank to the degree that Boots is bigger than Devin. So it's a tough fight for Tank. I think, no, I don't. I think at the end of the day, Tank started his career at 130 pounds. Devin started his career at 135 pounds. It's not like one started 2 or 3 weight classes naturally bigger than the other. It's only about that. And yeah, I think, look, Tank's being shorter than Devin, he makes it work for him because he's a more compact, accurate, precise puncher at placing his punches than Devin. Devin has to offset that with his length and activity and size. Look, if Tank is really as good as he says he is, if he's really a great fighter like he says he is, he can still be a great fighter and lose to Devin. Because if Devin's that great too, then, it's okay to lose to other great fighters. But Manny Pacquiao was the last short 5'5" southpaw knockout artist pound for pound king. And in order to be that short 5'5" southpaw knockout artist pound for pound king, he had to do it to men naturally bigger than him. He did it many times. So Tank has to do the same. If Tank wants the same recognition the last 5'5" southpaw knockout artist pound for pound king it does, if he's really that great, he's going to have to beat naturally bigger men. That's what pound for pound is all about. And that's all that's left for Gervonta to prove. Gervonta has proven, in my eyes, with my eye test, he's elite. I think he's top 10 pound for pound. I just think you got to have him near the bottom because he hasn't beaten great fighters yet. He's beaten some good fighters, and we know the names, Barrios and Pedraza and Santa Cruz, and he's beaten some good fighters. He's fighting another good fighter in Frank Martin. But right now, Tank kind of reminds me of like Matthew Stafford, in that Stafford put up all these great numbers on the Lions, threw for 4,800 yards, threw for 5,000 yards, did all kinds of great numbers, but it was sorely missing was playoff success, that big defining Super Bowl win. And so once Matthew Stafford got that Super Bowl in the NFL, everything, all those wonderful stats he put up with Megatron in Detroit, it all fell in place. And all of a sudden, it goes from a bunch of empty calories, a bunch of big empty numbers, to a Hall of Fame resume, because now all those numbers are cemented with a Super Bowl ring. Same thing for Tank right now. He's putting up all these numbers at the box office, got a huge knockout ratios, beating some solid to good fighters, but he has that big glaring postseason Super Bowl win missing. And if Tank were to knock out Devin Haney in a super fight, he would instantly become a legendary fighter. It would cement and solidify everything he's done up until this point. But without that great career-defining win, it feels a little empty, and you can't appreciate the body of work because it's missing the crown jewel at the top. So that's one comparison I give to Devin, to Tank. So there's another thing I wanted to take a look at here, because we're having fun. Let me see here. There was a bet, but I thought this was funny. So again, when I talk about I'm worried about Ryan, and this isn't all promotion, even Devin Haney, who has a vested interest in making everyone believe Ryan is okay, admits that he's not. And here we go.
Devin, your prediction, the outcome of this fight?
Something is wrong with this motherfucker. I tell you, God, something's wrong with him. This shit not normal. This shit is not normal.
I agree with Devin. I just don't say it as harshly because I'm not his opponent. I feel for the guy, for Ryan. I really do. But yeah, even Devin's acknowledging it.
Yeah, you're gonna go one way or another. Yeah.
I am Devin. That's bad.
It's all clicking in.
When my time, no,
Man, fuck you guys.
Listen, but listen though. I want the world to give me my credit when it's all said and
Like,
done.
I just see a pain and a sadness to Ryan in his eyes. I just do.
For all my years of hard work and dedication and discipline. Don't make excuses for this guy. I don't want to hear nothing about nothing. All my hard work will pay off, and I want the world to give me my just due when I smash this motherfucker.
Yes, sir. And still.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Devin. They're probably not going to because of what you acknowledged yourself in the beginning of your statement.
Read that book and it'll tell you.
We'll leave it at that. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, live on DAZN Worldwide. Tickets available at Barclays Center. Oscar will give you the last word.
That's my mom.
Let's go, his mama right there.
Tickets left.
Yeah.
We're not closing the fighters for,
So Miss April Clay, Devin Haney's mom, showed up.
but we will save that for tomorrow during the weigh-in. Thanks, guys. Thank you for coming out. New
Scary
York.
ass somebody.
See you Saturday.
If he dies, he dies. Get your scary ass somebody here. Ryan, give us a photo. What happened to the photo, Ryan? What happened to the photo?
He's scared.
Get your scary ass somebody. You gotta go try to make that bet. Go LaRosse out.
Hold up to Brooklyn, Miss Clay.
Go get
Don't play with her.
What-
Welcome to Brooklyn.
What's the prediction?
I'm in the house. What? Where's your mom? She's right here. Where's yours? Where's your mama? Where's your mama, Ryan?
Final prediction, Mama Haney.
Make it this fast. She's bigger than you.
For real chance to do.
Does it go
I bite a
12?
bitch. She did. I bite her.
Miss Clay, does it go 12?
2 rounds, huh?
Pros is
Well, I don't know about 2 rounds, but if Ryan does come out crazy like I think he will, I guess anything's possible, including him getting the knockout early. But all right, and then lastly, let's look at this one more time, or let's look at this clip.
I don't think Ryan has a heart to. I don't
And they
think
make the
Ryan-
bet. They make the bet for $500K, and you can see Ryan's team not loving this bet.
Ryan, you seem skeptical, to say the least, that Devin will go in the middle of the ring and slug it out with you. Do you believe that's going to happen?
No, he won't.
Why do you think that?
What do you think I'll do?
I just don't think you're gonna go in the middle of the ring. I mean, that would be stupid.
Why?
All right, come to the center.
I'll meet you in the center.
That was funny.
What the fuck? Come to the center. All right, we'll go to the center of the ring. We'll see what you do, bro. Nobody's worried about that. Go run. Go fucking go to the center. Do whatever the fuck you want. I'm gonna hunt you down. I'm gonna fucking knock you out. $500,000.
That's not a great problem-solving brain. Ryan says right there, do whatever you want. I'm just going to hunt you down and knock you the fuck out. It reminds me of what Roy Jones said in the third Morales-Barrera fight. And Jim Lampley was saying that in the fighter meetings, Morales said it's going to be a quick night. I'm going to knock him out. And Roy said, see, that's the mentality of a guy who didn't show up to put a lot of hard work in tonight. He's not using his problem-solving brain. He just wants to show up and get a knockout. And Roy's saying you can't expect to go into a big-time fight with that kind of mentality, meaning you got to have your problem-solving brain right, everything ready to make adjustments, ready to think things through and be sharp mentally and physically. And that quote from Roy Jones in the third Morales-Barrera fight rings home to me when Morales thought that Barrera had already been knocked out by Pacquiao. Barrera was this little guy having to go up to 130 for the third fight. Morales was, the man, and he thought he was going to knock Barrera out early, and that's never a good mentality to carry in. I'm just going to knock him out.
500,000.
Yeah, you better make weight. You gotta take that vest off. Worry about your weight. So whoever come up with weight, pay 500,000.
100%.
Okay, that's a bet. That's a bet. You already bet. Whoever come up with weight, pay 500,000.
Look at Derek. Look at Derek and Haney-Garcia when Ryan's ready to just impulsively make this bet.
It's a bet.
No, 500,000 per pound. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Ryan.
Whatever you say, Dad.
Listen to your daddy.
Hey, Ryan, let's do 500,000 per pound.
Okay.
Let's do it. Shake on it.
Oh, Devin attacking him when he's weak, sensing, smelling blood. Let's do it. Let's do it. You're being impulsive and making a bet you really shouldn't. Let's do it. Let me hold you to it.
Your mama
It's
wanna
pouncing.
put some money on it too?
Shark smelling blood.
Your mama want to put some money on it too? Let's get it. Let's get
Hey, where's
it.
your mama at, baby? Where's your mama? Oh, I'm gonna go flirt with your mama. Ooh, she got me fine as fuck. Yeah, I want some of your mama. I want your mama now. Oh,
Not exactly the same cold precision in attacking the entourage that Terrence Crawford had with Errol Spence. Not quite as focused and on point.
Your mama probably in my DMs.
Remember when Terrence told that guy, you want attention, and then there was this slow build from Terrence Crawford where his fury that was about to pour out of him on fight night eventually came to Spence's entourage? That's not Ryan. Everything's 0 to 100 and kind of impulsive with it.
Fuck you, motherfucker. Don't talk about my mom. Fuck you up. Yeah.
Right there, that change, he can't make his mind up if he wants to go full badass or still be that smiling nice kid from Victorville. He's caught in between a couple of different things right now. Devin's consistently being one type of person right now.
Mama probably in my DMs.
Do I want to joke around? Do I want to joke around about your mom being in my DMs? Or do I want to say I'll fuck you up for talking about my mom? Or do I just want to smile and laugh it off? Scattershot brain.
Talk about my mom. Fuck you up. Yeah, that fear coming in your mouth like a bitch, dog. I'll put my dick in your mouth, bitch.
It's cocaine
Hey,
in your
pause.
DMs.
No Diddy.
It's cocaine
No
in your
Diddy.
DMs.
All right, so that's more sights and sounds from final press conference. And again, I didn't really see much to change my mind. I do think my guy True School Sports' prediction of, because Ryan said it, I think Ryan ended this press conference by saying, I'm going to break his neck. I believe that's how Ryan ended this thing. He continues to talk about breaking arms and snapping necks and biting ears. So I'd be an asshole to not say a DQ is at least in play. Everyone just keeps thinking all of this is promotion. I think he might be serious about doing some of that stuff. So I think Ryan's going to come out like a bat out of hell for the first 2 or 3 rounds. He could do something crazy once he shoots his load, and we could see some Bo Galata, Tyson Holyfield, Zab Judah, Floyd Mayweather, 10th round in-ring brawl type of thing happen. Barring that, I think Devin will increasingly get more offensive as the fight goes on behind his jab, and I think that right hand, I keep saying it, I think that right hand is going to be money at some point in the fight for Devin Haney. Yeah, I see a lot of questions about Derek James right now. I don't know. I think Derek is, I don't know. I sense a little bit of resentment and bitterness towards the sport from him right now with the falling out with the Errol Spence rumors about Errol trying to only pay him a percentage of his guarantee and not the full check he went home with that night. And, when Derek says things like, after these fighters, I'm done. I just get from Derek that he's put his work in with Ryan, meaning he showed up every day on time, probably before Ryan gets to the gym, and he's physically given it his all as a professional. That's the professional in Derek James. Actually, I want to talk about Derek for a minute in another regard too. But I don't know how much his heart is into it. I know his body's into it. He's been there every day on time. He's made sure that Ryan's put the rounds in on the mitts, on the bag, and all of that. I don't know how much his heart is into this after the fighter he's built from scratch, and since he was a little kid in Errol Spence, may have betrayed him a little bit in trying to shortchange him. That'll make you, we're human beings. That'll make you a little resentment and bitter a little bit. Another point I want to make about Derek James. Highlights of his came up from when he fought Joe Lipsy, right? He fought Joe Lipsy in 94, and Derek was only 9-0 or 10-0. And I watched the highlights of that fight the other night. It's had a couple takeaways. First of all, Derek James could fight. He was good. When I watched that fight, he was better than I recalled him being when I watched some YouTube of him years ago. He could fight. And he could fight because if he was only 9 or 10-0 fighting Joe Lipsy, then he could fight because Joe Lipsy around that same era in the mid-90s fought Bernard Hopkins for the IBF middleweight championship of the world. So I look at Derek, and it made me feel a little bad for him because go back and watch highlights of Derek James, Joe Lipsy. The 90s, first of all, the 90s are fucking crazy because if you watch that fight, they're fighting at the level of a current day title fight, but Joe Lipsy wasn't a champion and Derek James was just a prospect. So first of all, he came up in an era in boxing where it was just nothing but killers in the middleweight division, you know, super middleweight, welterweight. The whole sport was just filled with killers at that point in time. He came up at a tougher era than it is now. And I asked myself, why was Derek James fighting Joe Lipsy in his 9th or 10th fight when Joe Lipsy was good enough to fight the best middleweight in the world around that time? Sounds like he got moved too quickly into that fight. And if you watch that fight, he dropped Joe Lipsy twice and was giving him the business. And then once they got to the point of a fight, 7th and 8th round, where a fighter with only 9 or 10 fights has maybe only gone that distance once or twice, you could see the inexperience show up, and Derek kind of fell apart and wound up getting knocked out by Joe Lipsy in a fight he was in control of. So I kind of just wanted to bring that up to show some respect to Derek James, that he may not have been a world champion, but he came up in an era full of killers in boxing, and he got fed to the lions kind of soon, having to fight a title contender like Joe Lipsy in only his 10th fight, was winning the fight, and then it got away from him. And yeah, I think there's a little bit of bitterness and resentment. I've been there in life before. It comes and goes. He's not going to be like that forever. And I think he's physically given Ryan everything he's got, but I don't know how much, you know, emotionally and mentally he's really attached to this fight. I think he's professionally going through the motions a little bit. And we'll see. Again, Ryan should have never left Eddie Reynoso. So, you know, Eddie Reynoso can teach you head movement coming forward and was giving him that, you know, old school Mexican tough love. And Derek James is trying to make him do the catch and shoot and throw more punches per round. But Derek James, I feel bad for Derek James with Ryan because he got a regressing Ryan Garcia. If Derek James had gotten Ryan Garcia fresh off the Luke Campbell fight, he'd have had a better fighter on his hands than Joe Goossen because, you know, all respect to Joe Goossen, who was in Diego Corrales' corner when he won the greatest fight of the new millennium against Castillo. But Joe Goossen didn't do anything with Ryan. He was kind of just happy to be there and to be back in the spotlight. And I felt Ryan's mechanics regressed under Joe Goossen. And Derek had to try to restore life into this regressed version of Ryan and not Ryan who was at his peak coming off the Luke Campbell fight. So anyway, respect to Derek James. And let me shout out some people in the chat. Adrian Williams said, looking at it now, I see what you mean. Sluggle1 said, Derek James, John David Jackson, Robert Garcia, and more were good boxers and good trainers around and during an era of some serious monsters. Well said. Sean Zittel, Derek is professional. How much he is invested on depends on how much interest Ryan shows. Well put. The Keggy said, salute Sean Zittel in chat. Sean, do you think him and Ryan split after this? Him being Derek, I think it's very possible because I think Ryan's going to lose. And fighters, a lot of times, half the time, will leave a trainer after a loss. So I think it's possible. Arturo Barbrasa said, take care, Mr. Z. You take care as well. What's up, Highness? Highness says, we all know he's trolling, right? I don't think it's just trolling. I think it's a troubled young man. Let's see. Molly Mall, thank you, said, are we ready to discuss Abdullah versus Andy now? Molly Mall, I feel like it's too soon, Molly Mall. Let me take you to a tweet I had about that. Let me take you to a tweet I had about that. So asking me about the great young prospect Abdullah Mason and the two-time gold medalist Andy Cruz, or excuse me, not the two-time, but the gold medalist Andy Cruz. Where's that fella I responded to? View post engagements. So this guy, like yourself, he beats Andy Cruz right now, right, Molly Mall? And I'm gonna tell him what I'm gonna tell you, Molly Mall. You know I got love for you, brother, but I'm gonna tell you what I told him, and what I said here was, let me maximize so you can see it better. What I said here was, damn, brother, I don't know if you even like your steaks medium rare. You must just eat the cow raw. let's leave this one in the oven and let it cook a little bit. Though I think your point was more he could do it right now rather than make it now. So I was joking with that guy like I'm joking with you, Molly Mall. Man, you must not even like the steak medium rare with the pink meat. You just like to stick a fork in the cow while he's still alive and just start eating them alive. Because Abdullah Mason and Andy Cruz got a lot of... More so Abdullah, because Andy Cruz is actually already a fully grown man. He just had to come here late from Cuba. I think Abdullah Mason is the brighter prospect, but I really like Andy Cruz. And I think Andy Cruz has a chance to be the Cuban Lomachenko. What do I mean by that? He has a chance to be fast-tracked quickly in his first 10 to 15 fights into title fights, and he can have success. And like Lomachenko, he's not a great one-punch puncher. He's so busy with his lead footwork. And like Lomachenko, he's very good at putting together softer, quicker shots and then sitting down on, the shots further down the line in the combination. And again, he's very tricky with that front foot, getting to the outside foot of the other guy. He's a southpaw like Lomachenko, I believe. And yeah, I think Andy Cruz has a chance to be the Cuban Lomachenko, where he got here a little late in his mid to late 20s, or mid-20s for Andy. Loma got here at like 27. But I think he's going to make up ground quickly and kind of mix the amateur brilliance with a little bit more professional style like Lomachenko did. And although Andy is sitting in the pocket earlier in his career than Lomachenko did, and that's part of why Loma lost to Salido. He wasn't comfortable in the professional pocket in just his second pro fight, and Salido made it a tough fight, won a close fight. And Bozy Ennis right away with Andy, it's as if Bozy is like, I know you can fight off the back foot. I know you're fast and got a lot of tricks up your sleeve. Let's get you used to being settled down and sitting in the pocket. And that's what they worked on from fight number one with Bozy. And I think it's going to pay huge dividends for Andy Cruz because he's going to be a complete fighter who could sit in the pocket, work on the inside, and then he'll always have his bag of tricks off the back foot and his athleticism. So, but with all that said, he is getting here in his mid-20s. And Abdullah Mason at 19 years old already looks sensational. Abdullah Mason's got more time to work with. Abdullah Mason will be a world champion at the same age Andy Cruz wasn't even a professional. So I do think Abdullah Mason projects to have the greater career and be the greater pro than Andy Cruz. But I think Andy Cruz is on his way to maybe being like the Cuban Vasil Lomachenko. He's going to cram in a lot of accomplishments on a fast track quickly. He's going to be moved quickly, and he's going to have success in being moved quickly. I really like Andy Cruz. I like Abdullah Mason a little bit better, but I like both of them very much. Andy is saucy, says Zero. I agree. Plenty of sauce. Andy ain't no prospect. He's like 30. Never said he was. He's not a prospect. Kermel beats Andy, and he's 2 weight classes lower. I disagree. Kermel's still a baby, man. Kermel's still a baby. He doesn't have a dominant jab yet. And, he doesn't have that length that guys like Andy Cruz and Abdullah Mason have. And I think Kermel is a great prospect. I think he'll definitely become world champion. But, no, I'm not ready to... I don't think he beats Andy Cruz right now. I think if Andy Cruz and Kermel fought right now, Andy would win. Andy's a grown-ass man, and Kermel's still a baby. So, but Kermel is going to be a really good fighter, too. We all know that. Let's see. Sean, who wins Bivol versus Beterbiev? Tough one. Right now, my head says Bivol. The logic of my brain. Younger guy, better jab, fresher feet, and has that big neck shock absorber to absorb the power of Beterbiev over 12 rounds so that he can win a decision. But my gut tells me Bivol didn't like that right hand of the body by Lyndon Arthur, even though he dominated Lyndon Arthur. Last stream, I called him Craig Richards, and someone was smart enough in the chat to say, no, Lyndon Arthur. Shout out to whoever that was. Yeah, Lyndon Arthur was dominated for all 12 rounds by Bivol, but he made him uncomfortable with one right hand of the body. And it just so happens Bivol has an excellent straight right hand of the body. He throws it as well as almost anybody in boxing. Usually to the body, you see a hook to the body or on the inside an uppercut to the body, some kind of dig. But Beterbiev's very good at being at mid-range and knifing that straight right hand to the body underneath the elbow. And that's the shot that Lyndon Arthur got Bivol's attention with. Beyond all that, Beterbiev has a 5th and 6th gear that Bivol could get it to 3rd and 4th gear. Don't get me wrong. He's won fights in 1st and 2nd gear behind the jab. He has the 3rd and 4th gear. He has fast hands and combinations, does Bivol, and power. But Beterbiev, he really steps it up. And his pressure and presence mounts as the fight goes on. And then he kicks it into 5th and 6th gear. So my gut is kind of wants to lean towards Beterbiev, even though my head is going, you can't pick this 40-year-old to beat Dmitry Bivol. That's how I break it down right now. When we get to actual fight week, I will have a concrete pick. I won't waver. Let me see here. Why is the undercard so bad, especially when compared to Beterbiev and Bivol? I don't know. I like Scrappy Ramirez. He's in a WBA regular title fight. I like Charles Conwell. Charles Conwell has been slept on, and I'm happy he gets an opportunity. He should be higher on the card. I don't love Barboza. I think he's just a contender. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't think Barboza will become champion with all this talent around these weight classes. He's a solid fighter. He's a good fighter, but I think he's already plateaued by making it into the top 10. I don't think he beats any of the champions. I like Amari Jones on the undercard, but I get it. This is not a great pay-per-view undercard. I agree. But chat, I'm going to get out of here. I want to just shout out some people. You streaming the fight, Sean Highness? I won't be streaming the fight because I'll be live here in Brooklyn at Barclays. I'm going to go live right after the fight inside the arena with a live reaction, but these promoters do not want to credential us and then let us do a live round by round at the fight. That'll get me in trouble. If I was home, I'd be doing it, but I'm in Brooklyn. So I'll be going live right after the fight with a live reaction. Then I'm going to head to the post-fight, get a ton of interviews that I can, and then we'll circle back one more time late night after the fight and talk. And I'll be going live tomorrow night, too, after the weigh-in. We'll maybe do a quick one, see if there was anything to glean from the weigh-in. Maybe something pops off. But other than that, man, I'm just here in Brooklyn, my hometown, covering the fight. And I want to thank everyone who popped in. Thank you for the super chats. I want to shout out Wilson, Coda, Money Salmon. Love you, Chiqui Boxing. Keep up the great work in school, brother. I love you. Caleb, thank you, Caleb, always for supporting. Rejun Rue, the One Casual, Zero, Pugilist, Alfonso Surlis, Molly Mall, always, the Keggy, Next Gen Combat Sports TV. Who else do we got here that I want to get a shout out to? Mr. Lightning, Saba, Arturo Brasa, Glenn Chaos is always amazing in the chat. And if I missed you, I apologize. And I look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. Come back in tomorrow. Let's talk after the weigh-in. And God bless everybody. May the best man win Saturday night. I believe that man will be Devin Haney, but if it's Ryan, hats off to him. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get Saturday night, and I'll check in with everybody tomorrow. Peace. Keep it locked in. Oh, and I will be on True School's stream tonight to do the 90 Days of Boxing Straight finale. So tune in to True School tonight. And everyone, God bless. Have a great rest of the Thursday night, and thanks for checking in. Peace.